The next project is this. Most people would just leave a pedestal like that. That's my electrical pedestal. You know, it's got a couple 6x6s. This has been here for 6-7 years. It's kind of an eyesore. Drive down the driveway, got these beautiful solar panels, and then you have this pedestal. And at the time we're like, we'll get to it later, we'll do something about it, kind of neaten it up, because we just needed something at the time to put my panel boxes on. So here's my meters. I've got a reversing meter. There's my main solar disconnect. On the back side I have my solar generation meter. I just want to neaten this thing up. You know, we just kind of copped it together. Like I said, just wanted to get it on there, get these things on and come back to it later. So what we're going to do, put a little roof on it. Make it look like it was intentionally put here instead of just an afterthought. So we're going to use these posts, put a little timber frame roof on it. Really to kind of match the rest of the house. So let me take you inside and show you how we've started this. Well, here it is. This is going to be the roof structure for the pedestal. We decided to do it this way because we wanted some support for these rafters. We didn't want to sit the rafters right on one skinny, narrow beam going across. So instead, we widened it. And that way, we don't have to support the back and the front side, or the front and the back of each rafter going down through here. So this is the look of it. This is hemlock. It started out as what, 2x8s? And these 2x8s, he cut out on a table saw yesterday, put this cut on each one. And then we're laying this piece of 2x10 treated on top of it. And these two are straddling the post. The post is going to sit in between these two. So what this does is it allows a much wider beam. It's like 10 or 12 inch beam going across this. And this will allow us better meat and fastening power for the cedar. This is clear cedar, Northwestern red cedar. Just beautiful stuff, beautiful. I've used it all over the home. I had a few extra beams that we cut up to make this. These are sealed with a clear stain. Looks like we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that are gonna be spread out along here. So this is the roof structure. We're going to use the barn metal exposed fastener, kind of like what we used on the shed for the roof. We're also going to use tongue and groove cedar, like that. See that? All my soffits. Tongue and groove clear cedar. So that's that. We're going to screw up into the rafters to hold the rafters in place with some 6-inch Torx drive, so you can see how this is going to go. And a real craftsman, as I learned, pre-drills most things he does. He is always worried about splits for the best holding and fastening of joining. There's a lot of pre-drilling going on. Yes, it takes a few extra minutes, but so worth it in the end. What happens is when you have a lag like this, where the fastening is on the screws itself, the threads. The threads are going up into the cedar. So why put any stress on this piece as you drill through it? Sure, this is drilling it out as it goes, but why not just through hole this, pre-drill this, so this easily gets into the cedar. If you had a nice through hole where the threads could fully fit through the first piece that you're joining, just makes the whole job a lot easier. And it holds things together tighter. Well, I missed an update, but I'll try to show you what Art has done with this roof. We got tongue and groove cedar. And then on top of that, there's a layer of 1/2-inch plywood. And that plywood is primarily just to give us a little more thickness for the screws for the roofing panels. A little more meat for them. Really, we could screw into the tongue and groove, but it really just strengthens the whole roof. It's just a little added layer of safety on there. After the timbers were screwed, the beam going across, Art made the outside edges using the cedar. He cut these at a 45 all the way down the edge. What that allows is it just gets rid of all these seams going across. It gets rid of some end grain. It's just a cleaner look. So the same thing happened down here. 45 that, and then he just went ahead and ran his length of cedar. This is tongue and groove, and he screwed the cedar down. You can see there is a partial piece on the end, a bunch of full pieces, and a partial piece here. So usually what he likes to do is not have a really small piece on either end. Not start on one side, have a really small piece on the other. In this case, he took the center line, as many big pieces as possible, split the end pieces. So you can see the last piece here is 2.5 inches. The other side is 2.5 inches. and it just makes it a little more symmetrical throughout. He had this end piece on, and he had the other end piece on. And he just started at one end and just ran the tongue and grooves in. Screwed them down, and then the piece of plywood, you can see here, screwed that down through the tongue and groove into the timbers. And then we had our local roofing company make us some panels. Once the plywood was on, he knew the length that he needed. He had them bend it at the shop, or you could use a brake to do your own bends to make this one piece to cover up the edges of the plywood and the cedar. And you can see this is the lower end. I believe there will be a piece down here. So he's got these all clamped in place where he wants them. The next step is put the roofing screws in. And then we're going to use a forklift and lift this whole thing in place. So he's building it all inside, which is great for anybody doing work in upstate New York in January. It's just cold out there. Do as much inside as you can. Pre-build it. If you have the means, you can, 3 or 4 guys can handle this, or a forklift, and do as little work as possible outside. Here it is. The roof assembly is ready to go. We are going to use the forklift to move it over there. You can see how the ends of the plywood ended up getting covered up. Got the little drip edge there. You can see this top flashing. This protects the top edge of the cedar and the plywood. Now we'll go check out where it's going. Here's the hodgepodge looking pedestal so far. You can tell where the weather board's in place for 4 or 5 years now, and the new boards are a little discolored, but they're all weather gray in time. So it looks a little odd now, but that's what's happening. And then you can see what's going on top there. The roof structure is sitting on top of this. So what I'll see as I drive in the driveway will be a lot better than what it used to look like. All right, there's the roof. It's on. It was heavy. It took 4 of us to lift it up there. We tried to use the forklift, but the forklift died. So it just sits right over the 6x6 and that 6x6. Sandwiched on there. And then those are 5-inch lags holding it on. So it doesn't lift off. There's some on the front here. And the next step is there's going to be some vertical siding on this wall. So these are just the nailers for the siding. There's one down below, in the middle, and the top. Okay, here's the pedestal finished. Now you may wonder why some of the boards are grayed out and some aren't. Well, the whole thing is going to be grayed out. I'm just going to let it gray, except for the cedar. The cedar I'll keep a clear coat on it, keep it stained. Looks a little hodgepodge right now, but it'll look a little more homogeneous in about a year. So putting some sides on it. You can see how put a little end piece just to kind of finish it out. The last video I showed these 3 pieces that'll support the end siding, and then these little like 1x3s you put on each end to just close it off, make it look a little more finished. You can see the reveals he leaves everywhere. It's maybe a 3/8 of an inch. Little overhang on that one. Same thing on the back side. All the screws are in line. Here's the back side. You can see the 1x3 on each side closing it off. Here's the side you'll see when you're driving in from the driveway, from the road. Well, there you have it. Just a little extra project. Didn't need to happen. Kind of a nice to have, but something if you have an eyesore of a pedestal in your backyard or whatever, it just takes a little bit of hemlock and treated and whatever else you want to use. We had some cedar timbers and cedar tongue and groove left over, some bar metal, some plywood, a little bit of time, so you can make yours look a little nicer too. All right, we'll catch you on the next project.